close-up look at all your Concho Valley High School football. This is Inside the Game. Sponsored by Mitchell Automotive Group.
Welcome back here to Inside the Game on KSAN. We are now officially in week 6 of the high school football season, and district play has started for many teams. We start our show with the Lakeview Chiefs coming off a week 3 loss to Levelland. The Chiefs are now 1-4 on the year and desperately need a victory here in week 6 before district play begins. After their week 1 performance against Lamesa, the Chiefs have been on a downward trend due to the inexperience. This week they will need to continue to find their rhythm as they hit the road to face Midland Greenwood. Hector Guevara was able to catch up with the team earlier to talk about the must-win game. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Greenwood's a really good coach, really good team, well coached. They're big, you know. They try to run a well-balanced offense. You know, offensively they run the ball and throw the ball when they want to. They played some really good, tough opponents. We just got to show up, you know, prepared as we've been doing all week. They just got to keep doing what the things they're doing during the week, and it'll hopefully come into fruition.
All right, the Chiefs look for a win here in week 6 as they take on Midland Greenwood on the road. And the Rangers got off to a great start. Cade Rodolph gets the reverse from Demarion Mayfield, talk about the trickery, and sees nothing but daylight ahead of him. The Rangers take the 7-0 lead early on. More from the Rangers. Peyton decided to do it himself. The Rangers made it a 2-point conversion, making it 15-0. That defense was all on the Chiefs here tonight as Jalen Chavez tries to get rid of the ball but loses it. It's a fumble, and the Rangers come up with the ball. Chiefs will fall in. This one will be their 5th straight loss of the season, 52-6. The Central Bobcats get the bye week here in week 6 in the season. Up and down year so far, also sitting at 1-4 on the year. Let's take a look at how their season is shaped up so far. The Bobcats are now 1-4 on the season, and the bye week could not have come at a better time. The Bobcats will push the reset button and look to attack district competition after this week. As you see, the Bobcats have been in every game this season, but just have had trouble finishing the job. They look to close out the first 5 weeks behind them and prepare for their first district opponent next week. The Bobcats will face Midland at home and would like to start their district opener off with a bang against Midland. Tough team in front of them. The Wallhawks are 3-1 on the season so far, coming off their bye week here in week 5. The Wallhawks have looked poised to avenge their loss in the regional finals last year in the 2022 season. Wall is in for a great test coming out the bye week as they travel to face the undefeated Mason Punchers. These two teams have long history, playing every season since the 2018 year. Wall defeated the Punchers in a low-scoring affair last season, 14-6. This time, this game has potential to have more of the same. Two great defenses going at it, looking for the week 6 victory.
It's one of those things. They're a very good football club. They're well coached. Got a very explosive offense. You know, a defense that flies with the football. We got to do a good job of getting first downs, moving the sticks offensively. Keep their offense off the field and get first downs.
Every bye week's nice because you know you're dinged up, you're bruised, and you really don't get time to recover from all that. So when you get a bye week, you take advantage of it, and it's nice. We just need to focus on playing how we play. You know, like we're a good football team and we know it, but we can't get too full of ourselves. And it's been a minute since we've played in Mason, and I'm ready for it.
Wall facing Mason for the 24th meeting of all time. Mason leads the series 13-10. Wall looking to strike first, a quick snap and a QB sneak by Gunnar Dillard in for the first score of the night to put the Wallhawks out on top. Punchers ready to punch back. Matthew King a little trapped. He'll take a step over the Hawks and waltz into the Mason on the board and brings it to a tie game, 7-7. Mason ready to take the lead over Wall. Carton Schmidt with the Jets met with 2 Hawks, no problem. He's in for the Punchers touchdown. 14-7 Punchers lead. Hawks trying to fight back. Defense working in overtime. Punchers looking to go downfield, but it's met in the hands of the Hawks for an interception. As you can see here, rolls out, and that's an interception. Big time play here by the Wallhawks. The Punchers remain undefeated, though, tonight, taking down Wall in a very close one, as we expected, 14-7. All right, now we have Shelby down there at the Puncher Dome for what was an exciting matchup. Shelby, tell me and the rest of the Concho Valley your takeaways from that game.
Well, Keon, it happened. The District 1-2A Mason Punchers remain undefeated here tonight, taking down the District 2-3A number 4 Wall Hawks in an all-out defensive brawl, 14-7. Let's talk about this one, though. The Hawks now drop to 3-2 on the season, but the Mason Punchers are moving to a whopping 6-0, making a statement heading into district play. The Punchers made a statement on both sides of the ball tonight. Early in the game, number 62, Regan Evans, would get big and swat the ball to keep the Hawks off the board. Then, of course, we had our 2 Puncher touchdowns to put them ahead of the Hawks. But to seal the deal for Mason, they would keep the Hawks out of the end zone that final minute, topping the night off with a Puncher interception with only 45 seconds to go in that fourth quarter. The Punchers take down Wall tonight, 14-7 the final, as both teams head into district play. Well, that's going to do it from out here at the Puncher Dome in Mason. Reporting, I'm Shelby Rhodes, KSAN Sports. Back to you.
This live shot is sponsored by AFCO Steel.
Thank you for that one, Shelby. Stay with us. We'll have more Inside the Game right here after the break.
Enjoy a chorizo and potato breakfast taco at Rosa's Cafe.
For more than 65 years, Webb, Stokes & Sparks has recognized and honored our responsibility to our clients and community. Our relationships here and across the state are built on integrity, respect, compassion, and trust, and have been since 1956. We understand how an injury can affect your life and the life of your loved ones. When you need experience and strength on your side, you need Webb, Stokes & Sparks. Injured? We can help. Call Webb, Stokes & Sparks for a free case evaluation.
Listen up. You've got 4 days and 4 days only to save like never before.
During the 4-day super sale at Furniture Row. That's 4 days where the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. No limit. You'll also find huge savings on sofas and sectionals, dining tables and chairs, bedrooms, and much, much more. Plus no interest until January 2028.
But don't wait. The 4-day super sale at Furniture Row ends Monday.
This Hispanic Heritage Month, we applaud a Broadway icon.
Hi, it's Lin Miranda.
Musical theater fascinated him.
I mean, it's just like...
But its lack of diversity jaded him. That all changed after he saw Red.
That's the show that made me feel like I could write a musical.
Now, he's Broadway's golden boy and continues to challenge Latino stereotypes.
My whole world has sort of become about it.
Celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. Brought to you by SAISD.
Welcome back here to Inside the Game on KSAN. The Water Valley Wildcats and the Sterling City Eagles have been a brewing rivalry since their time in 6-man football. Tonight, they meet again for their second meeting since moving to the 11-man ranks. The Water Valley Wildcats down at Eagle Field to take on the Sterling City Eagles in a great rivalry. Eagles strike first in this one. Seth Turner gets the handoff and takes it in himself from short yardage 7-0. More from the Eagles, this time through the air. Ty Turner connects with Seth Turner, who makes an incredible grab with a one-handed catch over the middle. Sterling City adds to its lead. Water Valley gets on the board here. A deep ball. Chaden Gibbs hauls it in for the score to put the Wildcats on the board 14-6. But too much Sterling City tonight. Ball right around midfield. Y'all sit back and enjoy what Ty Turner does here. Jukes had a whole pack of Wildcats, gets a key block, and is gone to the house. Sterling City wins this one tonight, 41-14. The Junction Eagles are 4-1 on the season and have looked phenomenal in their non-district games so far. Tonight, they were looking to get a victory, number 5 on the season against Roscoe. The last time these two met was in the 2015 season, in which Junction dominated and got the 53-13 victory. Tonight, they will fall in a very close one, 20-14, in a game that came down to the final seconds. The El Dorado Eagles will be looking to even up the all-time series at wins between the Wink Wildcats here tonight. The Eagles look to move on to 4-1 on the season with a win over Wink here in this one. Early in the first, Omar Barajas fakes the handoff up the middle to Elazar Hernandez, pitches it out wide to Tony Komet, and he's gone, beating defenders to the pylon 7-0. Jason Cavarrubias, showcasing his speed here on the play, takes the pitch from Omar and turns on the jet, setting the Eagles up in great field position at the 45-yard line. Second quarter now, Barajas takes the snap, rolls to his right, and launches one in the air to a wide open freshman Jason Covarrubias, who walks into the end zone for the Eagles score. The El Dorado Eagles leading in that one right now 21-21, tied up at 21. The Menard Yellow Jackets were 4-1 coming into their Thursday night matchup with Nueces Canyon. The Yellow Jackets defeated the Panthers 72-13 last season, and last night was much of the same. The Yellow Jackets had it going all game long en route to their huge 59-14 victory. Menard moves on to 5-1 on the season. Now that district play is officially here, we take a look at how some of our districts are shaping up here in the 11-man ranks. We start with District 2-6A. Midland and Friendship sit at the top of it early on in the standings with 5-0 records, unblemished so far. Off to a great start to the year, followed by Midland Legacy at 4-1. Then we have Odessa Permian and the Bronchos at 3-2, and then the Central Bobcats now at 1-4. Now, district is where it all starts to count, so the Bobcats will need to come into next week with a new and inspired mindset to get back on the winning side of things versus Midland. Now on over to see how things are shaping up in District 3-2A. A few of our teams within the district here in the Concho Valley, the Sonora Broncos, continue to impress game after game. A team who's missing their do-it-all quarterback, Jaime Butron, they sit at 5-0. They continue to get better each and every week. Next are the Fort San Buffaloes at 4-1, followed by Reagan County at 3-2. The Anthony Wildcats are 2-2, and the Ozona Lions and Cristobal Cougars are the final two teams here at 2-3. But we know, given their strength of schedule to start the season, it was going to be a tough one. Looking for them to capitalize in district competition. All right, stay with us. Coming up after the break, we move to 6-man and take a look at some of our teams throughout the Concho Valley.
On Season 6 of Fansville by Dr. Pepper, things are heating up.
Mom, Dad, I have a girlfriend, and she likes college football.
The stars have arrived.
I've made my choice. This season, I will be drinking Dr. Pepper Strawberries and Cream.
And everyone wants a taste of fame.
Welcome back to Chuck's Take, because every fan needs a podcast.
To get a thick color, I use 2 coats of maroon. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
I love your nails.
Thank you.
West Texas Rehab Center has been helping our neighbors since 1953. Our Employer Services Department is your one-stop shop for ensuring you hire the very best employee. Serving over 500 area businesses, we are proud that companies like Glazer's Beer and Beverage trust us with their pre-employment needs.
WorkSteps is a great tool that will allow us to gauge whether they can do the job or not. We would like to thank West Texas Rehab for providing an invaluable service to ensure the safety of our future employees.
Football is the game of life, and it brings the community together. White, black, boys, girls.
Flag, tackle. Football can revive communities.
That's why I think, football is on the right path.
Community with football is very accepting and loving to people who enjoy the sport.
Win or lose, they do it as a family.
Welcome back here to Inside the Game. We have the 108th Cope County rivalry here tonight between Robert Lee and the Brock Longhorns. The Steers won this one last season to take the lead in the all-time series 52-51-4. First quarter, Brody Pitcock pitches it to Braden Sherwood. He drops back a beautiful ball right into the hands of Wyatt Bosworth. Steers lead 8-0. Still in the first quarter now, Pitcock again and to Braden Sherwood, and look at the hole he finds. Seems like no one will catch him. He's bouncing off the defenders until Longhorn strips the ball. Ball is out, recovered by Bosworth, and he will have no one in front of him as he's in for the touchdown. Second quarter now, it is Braden Sherwood once again. Big night for him as he strolls into the end zone with ease to extend the Robert Lee lead. All Robert Lee in this one tonight as they dominate, extending their lead in the series 51-6 over the Brock Longhorns. The Eden Bulldogs are coming off their second win of the season in Week 5 with their 42-32 victory over Brock. The Bulldogs are now 2-3 under new head coach Stephen Grigsby. He has led this team to back-to-back wins for the first time this season. Tonight they're on the road facing Lomita, and they would end up falling in this one 42-36. A hard-fought game, but eventually just wouldn't be able to overcome. Over to one of the last remaining undefeateds here entering Week 6 of the season, taking on a program who has steadily continued to get better every game this entire year. The very best Falcons on the road here tonight versus the Paint Rock Indians. The Falcons strike first with the pitch back to Bryce Martin, follows his QB who delivers a block in for the score, 8-0 very best. More from the Falcons on the ground. Hunter Tucker gets the handoff, takes a man with him for the score to extend it 16-0. Score quarter now. Bryce Martin gets the pitch back, follows his blockers upfield, and is gone. The long touchdown makes it 22-0 early on in this one. Paint Rock would make it close, but very best looks to remain undefeated, like I said, and they lead this one right now 47-22 late in the fourth quarter. Next up, we have the Blackwell Hornets hitting the road to play the Panther Creek Panthers. Blackwell has got off to a slow start as well this season at 1-3 so far, losing a ton of reliable pieces from last year's roster. Due to graduation, they are going up against the 3-1 Panthers, who are clicking on all cylinders before district play. The Panther Creek Panthers and the Blackwell Hornets right now still waiting on the score, but I know it's late in the fourth quarter. Now moving on to District 13-1A Division 1, a district filled with our teams we cover here in the Concho Valley. So let's take a look and see how things are shaping up that way. The very best Falcons, they sit at number 1 in that district, which has been one of the biggest surprises of the 2023 season after going 2-8 last year. The Falcons look dialed in and ready to make a run at a 6-man title. And we just saw them get a huge win here tonight over Paint Rock, so they look to continue to keep it going. Coming in at number 2 are the Menard Yellow Jackets at 5-1 after their big win Thursday night. They are putting together another great season. Robert Lee comes in at number 3, also sitting at 5-1 after their win tonight over Bronx. Followed by Arion County and Eden. Those two teams very young and have new coaches heading into this season. Hornets 3-2 and Eden 1-4. Over to District 13-1A Division 2 now, a district that has got off to a rough start so far, non-district competition, but are looking to gain some momentum as they begin district play. The Trent Gorillas sit at an even 3-3 on the year, followed by Blackwell at 2-3 after their win, and then the Bront and Lorraine. This district has been one to watch in recent years, and they look to see who comes out on top of this one, especially when district starts next week. All right, we'll be back with more Inside the Game right here after the break.
Shannon wants to make safeguarding your health easy and convenient. That's why October 4th to 6th, we're offering a drive-through flu shot clinic at the Shannon South Campus. Don't let the flu catch you. Roll in, roll up your sleeve, and roll out prepared for flu season.
Want to cool off this summer? Introducing the Diamond 5, our newest cool sleep mattress. Our patent-pending copper technology is 10 degrees cooler than your room temperature. This exclusive copper-infused memory foam technology pulls heat away from your body so you sleep cooler, deeper, and more comfortably. Get the lowest price of the year on this mattress and more. Now just $11.99. What are you waiting for? Cool off and sleep better. HomeZone, Texas-born, family-owned.
Shannon wants to make safeguarding your health easy and convenient. That's why October 4th to 6th, we're offering a drive-through flu shot clinic at the Shannon South Campus. Don't let the flu catch you. Roll in, roll up your sleeve, and roll out prepared for flu season.
Welcome back here to Inside the Game. We take a look at Week 7 in our KSAN Game of the Week coming your way next week. We're in for a great one here in Week 7. We have El Dorado versus Water Valley for their first district game of the season. The Eagles dominated the Wildcats last season 34-12 in their Week 6 victory. Two new teams that have got off to different starts will look to get the win where it all matters most. El Dorado enters this one at 3-2 and Water Valley at 1-4. Both teams coming off a Week 6 loss that will be eager to get back in the win column come next Friday night. All right, that's all for Inside the Game here in Week 6. And like I said, we had a huge matchup that we love to see against Wall and the Mason Punchers. Those two teams battled it out. Wall came away short, but Mason continued their undefeated ways, defeating them 14-7. A great matchup that we continue to look to see how those teams will finish out during the season as district play begins next week. We'll look to see what they do next week as we go out to our KSAN Game of the Week, and that's all for us here on Inside the Game on KSAN. You all have a great night and see you next week, Friday, 10:15.
Catering for Inside the Game is provided by Chick-fil-A.
Inside the Game is sponsored by Mitchell Automotive Group.